Welcome to the Justin Hamilton podcast. On today's episode, author Garth Jones returns to discuss all the books, all the novels, all the graphic novels that we've been consuming over the past month. It's another broad range of titles that I think will, at the very least, there'll be something that appeals. We're hitting a lot of different areas, a lot of different genres, and I think there will be definitely some stuff that you'll think, that'll be for me. I'll check that out. So uh, listen closely, and I think you'll find something that appeals to you. At the end of the podcast, I'll tell you a couple of bonus things that we're going to add to my YouTube page, but I'll tell you about that later. Before we do get into it, though, over at my Substack, I've just added a new chapter to my memoir, One Foot in the Spotlight. We are up to the point in my career back in 1994 when I started off in a duo called the Bunter Boys. We were a musical sketch comedy act, and this particular chapter is about our very first headline spot. And normally for a headline spot, you just take the best bits of everything you had been doing in the previous weeks and turn them into something. But we decided that we needed to take this a step further. And this is around the time of the Jim Rose Circus. We'd been approached by Adelaide punk rock band, the Clowns of Decadence. There were a few things going on that influenced us, that instead of just doing a 20-minute set, we put together a one-off show called The Bunter Boys Really Shitty Circus. And it's all about what we did, how we came up with the idea, what happened, and the lesson that we probably should have learned before we had someone breathing fire in an enclosed space. It's all right. Nobody catches on fire, but looking back in hindsight, maybe someone could have. So that is over at my Substack, and there is my ongoing blog over there, which you can also read, and all sorts of different stuff. So if you like reading and you like my written work, head over to Substack. You can find it through my website, justinhamilton.com.au, or just look up Justin Hamilton Comedian at Substack, and you can check out all of my written work there. Also, just a reminder, the next fortnightly newsletter drops on Tuesday morning, and normally I'm pretty much have it ready by the weekend, but I'm going to hold off on it just because I'll be seeing a little movie called The Odyssey on Monday night, and I've signed an embargo, so I'm not allowed to talk about it until the Thursday. But I'll drop some oblique thoughts and ideas for you. So if you'd like to be ahead of the curve, head over to the website, justinhamilton.com.au. You can sign up on the front page, and you'll get a confirmation email, which will probably go to your spam. So check that out. Click on that, move it to your inbox, and then you'll be good to go. Every fortnight, you'll receive an email from me that is essentially a distillation of what I do here, suggesting movies, suggesting books, suggesting music, things that I've been consuming that I think might bring some joy to you as well. And also, you'll be able to get some ticket deals for shows that I'm putting on. This week, I think we might have some deals for Will Anderson's shows up in Brisbane. So if you'd like to be able to sign up for that, head over to the website and get in on the newsletter. Yeah. All right. I'll tell you more about what's coming up next week at the end of the podcast. But for now, let's bring in Garth and talk all things books and graphic novels. You are the most prolific reader in my life, and that's honestly one of the best compliments I can give anyone. It makes me think of the Bill Hicks routine when he's reading in the South, and the local comes up and says, "Look out, boys, we got ourselves a reader."
Well, I was at the AA this morning, which is like the car repair workshop, and I did pull out a book, and I got a lot of stunned
Yeah.
Stun, stun looks.
Who is this guy
What's
coming
this
out?
motherfucker doing? Fucking tickets on himself, pulling out a book at 9 a.m.
Yeah, it's a power move, isn't
Why
it?
are you on your phone? And why is the book's cover pink?
Yeah, yeah. How do you how do you wank to that? Is
Well,
probably
that's
what they
right.
were thinking.
Probably in the waiting room for a mechanic. Yeah, it's
I the do you, sorry, this is such a tangent, but we come from an age of remember you'd go over your mate's house and uh the dad would just have a whole lot of
a stack of pornos.
yeah, and naked women stuck to the wall of the garage.
Yeah, I'm going to do a shout out to my one of my old friends, Lyndall here. Her dad, Al, who sadly left us a while ago. He had all the Larry Pickering calendars up,
Amazing.
all the dicks out,
Yeah.
and the most hetero man in the world. Uh, and he had every politician's, imagined cock in the pool room, the literal pool room. Yeah, and another friend had, his dad just had his pile of like escorts and all this next to the bed for his, reading material at bedtime every night. Hi,
Phenomenal.
hi Mr. Bessel.
What a way to go. And because, coming from a single mum background, it was so what is happening here? The Larry Pickering caricature of I think it's Dennis Lilly bowling and the
Yes.
ball is his nutsack. And I reckon that scarred me for years.
I mean, yeah, his later work obviously trended, yeah, even more horrifying. But yeah, a lot of that stuff that he was doing, like, and it was just being published in the fucking Herald Sun.
Yes. Yes.
Like you got your calendar with the fucking newspaper.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
How good were the 80s? Yeah, like just Bob Hawke always had a tiny cock, didn't he? Paul Keating had a massive dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Weird shit. I don't want to give this person any more coverage than he's already getting, but I feel like Hughesy's turning into a real life Larry Pickering caricature.
yes, he's got all the he's got. Well, did you want to see the calendar illustration? What do you think? That would be like a real estate section or
Yes. Yeah. But in answer to your question, do I want to see it? Absolutely
no,
not.
not at all.
But
No.
but I reckon it would be in the real estate section.
We'll stick with the Siggy Pack meme as the
Honestly, so cruel.
yeah.
And every
And
time it pops up in my feed, I laugh like a loon.
as you know, it had some plant medicine when you sent that to me a few weeks ago, and I was giggling for about an hour and a half
Yeah, well,
between that
uh,
and sunrise appearance where he was just sort of like strobing in rainbow colors with those fucking can I have a Siggy eyes?
so good, so good. Anyway,
Yep,
no more attention for him. He is getting everything he wants, and
he'll be all
isn't
right.
it nice to see a multimillionaire finally get what they want
Oh well, he struggled for a long time.
for a long time? Bless his socks.
Has
Um,
has he bought the Pamela Anderson house in St Kilda yet? Has he bought Sam Newman's house? It's on the
probably
card.
not after what fucking Labor's done, mate.
Taking down fucking murals on the sides of houses. So
Yeah, I mean, it's probably been born by all those Sri Lankans who come over here and
do the
buy
job I used to do.
all our homes. We have a bunch of books to get into, which are
Yeah,
much more interesting than talking about that.
low, low porno mag rating this month.
Dude, yes. Where do you want to go? Do you want to start with the Reverse Centaur's Guide to Life After AI? Because it is a cracking title.
Yeah, I think yeah. So this just came on the radar like a day and a half ago, and I thought I'd just get straight into it. It's not a long read.
Mm.
It's by Cory Doctorow, who wrote Enshittification, which we talked about earlier in the year.
Yep.
And to a large degree, it's a follow up on that. It's him unpacking what AI hype entails and what we do after the bubble bursts. Uh,
Mm.
and he's not completely anti AI in the sense that he sees, good utility for, stuff that's not aggressively evil.
Right.
But it's very much scale sort of like applications of AI that sort of enhance our life and not fucking destroy it, is what he's talking about. And the concept of the reverse centaur is basically that. So it's just doing things arse about basically. So you've got the horse head on
Mm,
the body. So AI is sort of leading us down a pathway of just doing things counterintuitively,
mm-hmm.
because the technology is being shoved down our throats, and it's still being, sort of lauded to us as this process that will either, destroy us all, save the environment, maybe, reduce your bottom line because you have no employees anymore. But when you really break it down, all that stuff just falls away because the amount of money invested into it is just unsustainable. Like I was listening to Ed Zitron, who's a sort of staunch anti-AI critic yesterday, talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that by 2030, OpenAI will be over $1 trillion in debt. Uh,
Wow.
because the model doesn't the subscription model they use and the way that it's this stuff just doesn't work, and it doesn't make economic sense. If you buy a $200 subscription to OpenAI to use for a month, they need to give you $14,000 worth of tokens
Mm.
to use to actually generate your prompts.
Yeah.
Uh, if you're actually being charged the amount that it costs to actually do this stuff, no one's going to want anything to do with it.
Right. Right.
It's too expensive. And that sort of Dr. O's, thesis as well, that is that, like, yes, it can replicate illustrators and artists and writers and things like that. But at the end of the day, we all know now that that sort of cost benefit analysis for that stuff is just like humans can do it better.
Right.
And we
Right.
know we can see the authenticity of what we do.
Yeah.
And that should be the joy in it. And as people become more and more familiar with AI, we start to wonder why the hell we need to use it at all.
Right, right. It's I think one of the things that has been lost and in general life is the actual doing of things.
Yeah.
So invariably it's not about just having the end product. It's about engaging with something and developing skills and making. And we've talked about this heaps, where
Mm.
the the use of language in modern society, where we've reduced art and entertainment and books and TV and movies to content, and content is a checklist. It's not something that you engage with,
Mm.
and this is kind of like an offshoot where, well, I've made it. And it's like, yeah, but what were you thinking when you made it? What were you feeling? What was the inspiration? Well, I've made it, and it didn't take me long. And it's like, okay, well, what are you doing with all that extra time? Like,
Yeah.
if this gave you an opportunity to make something, like, what are you doing with all that spare time that it's given you? And none of these conversations seem to exist on a regular basis. I'll be honest with you. The only good use I've seen of AI in any recent time was up at in Brisbane at Good Chat Comedy, where Jake, one of the owners, has been using AI to work out if something's Catholic or Protestant, and it turned out that's a really fun game because he has trained it to give him fun responses. Everything from, you know, uh, is a certain type of cheese Catholic or Protestant to, is the comedian we're watching on stage at the moment Catholic or Protestant? But it just seems to, like, I just keep picturing those uh, science stories about petri dishes with bacteria that feed and feed and feed and feed until there's nothing left to feed on, and we're bacteria.
Yeah. And that's, I think, yeah, to a couple of those points, Dr. O talks about intentionality, and, there's no intentionality with the spreadsheet that AI basically is.
Mm,
It doesn't have feelings or thoughts or any ability to sort of have an internal life or, internality that it wants to express something. So yeah, it is eating all of the bacteria. It is eating all
mm,
sells, and but it can't create anything new from it.
Mm.
All it's giving you is a heavily, regurgitated variation on a whole bunch of themes that it's been fed. And the same, I guess, the same goes for, most of those applications because there's no new knowledge going into it.
Mm.
You're just ending up with sort of the regurgitated slop.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know, on a macro level and going into a different field, I kind of hope that we're seeing a lot of IP fail at the
mhm.
moment, and it's crazy that you and I are living at a point in life where there's no Doctor Who, there's no Star Trek, Star Wars has shit the bed, Marvel is running on fumes, and movies like Obsession and Backrooms has found an audience. I kind of
And just a quick injection here. Go and see Leviticus as well. Support
Oh
those
yes,
projects. That's
yes,
a fucking great Australian horror film. Uh,
yes.
yeah, get on board.
Um, yes, I've heard excellent stuff about that. I haven't
Yeah,
had an opportunity to see that yet, but yeah, I'm keen to check that out. But I'm hoping that on a grassroots level, maybe with younger generations, that there will be uh, a rejection
yeah,
of the old and nostalgia, and we will forge ahead at least through them.
yeah. I think because it was Kane Parsons, the guy who directed Backrooms, who sort of
Mm,
just 20 years old, just
mm,
said straight up, I despise AI. I don't see any value in it.
mm.
And then A24 turned around and became an AI based content producer straight up.
Mate, it is Jesus. Like, what a bummer.
Yeah,
What a fucking bummer. Like, have loved A24 for a long time now,
yeah.
and it's like, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, it's just, in the book, he talks a lot about this idea of, you can inflate the bow of your company by saying that, you're now embracing AI, and, makes the comparison of, say, a taxi company that's been around and is a mature company and has been around forever versus, a startup that says, and, a taxi company might have like a sort of steady income stream or it might slightly rise
Mm,
versus something like Lyft or Waymo or Uber, who
mm,
says, "Oh, by the way, now we're going to introduce like AI-based price modeling and all those sorts of things to really screw the consumer and the driver."
mm.
But shareholders go, "Oh, great!" So inflates the value of the company for a little while,
Yeah.
when inevitably crash because that they can't maintain that level of growth.
Mm, yeah.
So yeah, it's the impatience for having, just constantly upscaling the amount of money that's flowing in that's just going to destroy all these companies eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this actually sounds like a pretty fascinating read, and part of what might really appeal to it is you said it's a quick read, so I can get in there,
Yeah.
feel bad,
Get it
and
over.
get out.
I think you'll feel all right at the end. I mean, I've told this story to a couple of people now, but the podcast we recorded this time last year, about Alien Earth and
Mm,
AI, my hairdresser listened to it
mm,
out of the blue. She mentioned it and said,
right,
made me think a lot.
right.
I was like, "What radicalized you?" That's, yep, one hairdresser in New Plymouth down. Just need to spread it around.
One heart at a time. That's
One
what
hundred.
the
That's
motto
right.
of this podcast. We'll get there.
I
All
got
right.
her.
What do you want to discuss next? We have. I'm happy to go with whichever.
Yeah, sure. So this came out at the beginning of June. It was Noelle McCarthy's Stakes. She's a Irish author who lives in Featherston, just near Wellington in New Zealand.
Hmm.
And she won the Ockham Prize in 2023 for her first memoir.
Yep.
And this one's a follow-up, sort of, it's a sort of a coming of age story that sort of comes up into sort of COVID, and the Me Too movement.
Mm.
And it's about her being a Dracula obsessed kid
Yep.
and being totally into Bram Stoker, and how that sort of love of the Gothic tied into her life as a kid and then young woman growing up in Ireland, you know, around the Troubles, through the Troubles, up until she left and moved to New Zealand, and then reckoning with a lot of the horrible shit that happened to her, or just dealing with men in general. Uh,
Yep.
to be fair,
Yep.
uh,
Hey, it
just
turns out men
stuff.
are awful.
Yes, Irish men cry more, but you know, as they're still assholes. Um,
I do love that. They cry more, but they're still assholes.
yes, they will glass you, and it's a really beautifully written story about her mother too, and her relationship with her mother, who was a sort of my head sort of head canon for the mother while reading this was probably Ruth from no, not Ruth, Rosemary from Widow's Bay.
Oh, yes, right.
Hard
Wow.
drinking, hard smoking,
Yep.
matter of fact, Irish Catholic woman.
Yep.
That was where my head was at while reading the memoir. It's a really beautiful piece of work. It's got even Jacinda Ardern has said that it's one of the most evocatively written pieces of memoir that she's seen, and she
Mm,
just released a memoir, and that probably doesn't fly too well in the sort of mucky world of New Zealand politics, as well, in a lot of senses too.
right.
Um, but yeah, I think if you want to empathize and sort of understand as a male, especially, just how much better you could do,
Yeah.
even yeah, just get a sense of like how much work you might have to do on yourself. I would recommend getting into that and having a good hard look at the book and then yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. The interesting looking at the synopsis, uh, it's where is it? It's described as uh, a, the vampire is a risk-free fantasy, a suave alternative to the fraught realities of desire. And the word suave has just been reintroduced to my lexicon recently. It's such a good word, and I reckon the reason it's kind of gone out of fashion in the most part, or everyday vernacular, is there's just not many people who are suave anymore.
well, there's just George Clooney.
It's just George. And
Just
well, I heard someone describe Matthew Rhys as suave in Widow's Bay, and I was like, oh yeah, Matthew Rhys is suave.
I think he can probably in his personal life, but yeah,
Yes.
in character,
Oh
maybe.
yeah, different, but yeah, he's definitely
Yeah,
got it. Um, I,
interesting word though. I wonder, yeah, where did yeah, because yeah, it was like a sort of
yeah.
yeah, all for your James Bonds and your characters who were put together and probably huge
Oh,
misogynist and
yeah, Cary Grant,
yeah,
suave, you know.
yeah,
I reckon it probably started to go out of fashion in the 80s with the testosterone,
yes,
you know, uh men with bodies that look like condoms full of coconuts, as Robin Williams once said,
yes.
and then, like it's anyway, it's an interesting word. Hey, yeah, what's I'm pretty certain I know, but what's your religious background? You were brought up in an atheist household, weren't you?
No, I was brought
No.
up in a Anglican Church of England household,
Oh,
and then I
right.
said no when the confirmation stuff came around and was yeah, I was the black sheep for a while.
Right. So, and now Anglican is you want to be Catholic, but you also want to be able to chop off the heads of your wives. Is that right?
Yeah, summing it up pretty succinctly. Yeah, sure.
Look at the atheist here who
I
has
think
no
I
idea.
think I think also that your clergy can still fuck.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So there's probably I couldn't give you statistics, but there's probably marginally less child abuse in the churches where you're still allowed to get laid.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Maybe that's how they have to sell themselves. Come over to the fuck clergy. Do you ever there's when I say a percentage of me, I mean a tiny
Yeah.
percentage of me, but geez, the Reformed Catholics get a lot to write about, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's basically just a fucking hand me down for like go for it. You've got so much material.
Yeah, it's like what a shame. I never got
Yeah.
any of that.
Yeah, and yeah, you don't get there's no, well, there's not as much guilt coming from the other denominations as there is from the Catholics. So yeah, it's definitely, and you don't get to become a superhero as much.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, you don't get to cave people's heads in like red leotards or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Well,
would never
it's
be
cool.
able to
It's
write
cool.
Daredevil. I'd be no, no, he seems fine.
Oh well, Kevin Smith, what a great Catholic he is.
One of the best. One of the best. This seems really interesting.
It's it's really excellent. It's yeah, the language is really sumptuous. Really, yeah, really reels you in. Um, and yeah, just as it moves into the sort of the last decade or so, you've got all those horrible reflections on what the Irish nunneries were doing with babies.
mm.
All those sort of horrible, actual real life sort of gothic things, like where they're finding, hundreds of babies buried under monasteries and things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. The small things like these. Yeah,
Yes,
that kind of world. Yeah. I'd definitely be that so far. That's two that I'd be
I'll
really
see.
keen to read. Um, let's jump on to the next one. Where do you want to go from here?
We'll keep the tone up with Lizzie Gray's Apocalypse. Is it Lizzie Gray? Lizzie Wade's Apocalypse,
Yep.
which probably is the book for our present moment, in that it is a collection of essays that deal with how cultures have um, dealt with and evolved through and developed after civilizational collapse. So,
Hmm.
vaguely relevant.
Wait, wait a minute. Is that relevant to what we're talking
I
about
don't.
now?
No idea. No idea. I'm pretty sure everything's fine. Uh,
Everything's fine.
everything's cool. So yeah, the author takes us through over human civilization, well, the human history, so knowable stuff that archaeologists have been able to find over the last probably 15 to 20,000 years,
Mm,
and delves into what we've managed to ascertain about what killed them, uh, how the society reacted to that, how they rebuilt or didn't rebuild. And the term apocalypse, obviously, people know that it doesn't mean the end of the world. It means a transition or a change.
mm,
There's something that it's. I think when I started reading blogs like Collapse and sort of doomer stuff 5 or 6 years ago, I think it still felt like it was a little bit sort of a little bit tinfoil hat,
mm.
but probably less so now when
Yeah.
you can see the sort of what we're ignoring as a species, in terms of we don't talk about climate change anymore.
Mm,
Don't really contend with the fact of food shortages, and like how our climate systems might invert themselves, so we've got massive parts of the world become arid.
mm,
We don't deal with the fact that we should just abolish the idea of having countries and just do everything collectively. Like, we're still fighting over stupid shit.
mm,
World all falls apart. Um, so yeah, this sort of looks at the way societies that were agrarian pulled together and got through the ice age, or they managed to find ways to endure or at least continue species. Ancient Egyptian societies, throughout the last recorded history that we can sort of piece together,
mm.
it demonstrates that resilience and the fact that while a way of life may end or change, it's not, sure, a lot of people will die,
Yeah.
but there's still sort of a way forward for humanity. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is yet to be seen.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Well,
it's a light read. Um,
but it's it is you know what I'm finding I'm doing recently is when I read anything that's important but
mhm.
uh overall depressing. I I have to even myself out. I am at issue 117 of the Avengers.
Yeah.
and I don't even read it. I just look at the pretty colors, and there's way too much writing, and I just look at yep, oh yeah, Cap and Iron Man have been taken out. Oh yeah, they've bounced back. They've
Is
won that
that
day.
the new ones, or like the Roger Stern stuff, or
Oh, this is going way back to the
yeah,
70s.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's honestly just color and movement before I go to sleep, just and I have that to focus on as I drift off and before my inevitable waking up at 3 in the morning going, oh my God, what is going on? What am I doing? What's my future? Why am I here?
The CPAP machine, just breathe, just breathe.
All right. You know I don't use a CPAC. I've got the mouth guard, but
Ladies.
it is
Um,
it's less confronting. I just look like I'm ready to box.
yeah, why are you wearing that? Well, I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If things haven't turned out too well, strap it on.
Yeah, you're going to punch on, that's fine.
But so this is talking a little bit less about what humans do and how a broad range of things can come along and can wipe out a civilization.
Yeah, I mean it's climactic. It's like disease, rising
Mm,
sea levels, I guess tied to climate. But yeah, all the different sort of challenges that civilizations have faced.
mm,
And because there's a story about a group of sort of agrarian culture that maybe 10,000 years ago, and they found evidence of them building seawalls over centuries.
right.
As the seas rise, they've built seawalls that have sort of gradually encroached on where they lived until they've
Mm,
just disappeared.
mm,
But as that receded, they found these sort of concentric circles of seawalls they've tried to build to keep
mm,
at bay the sea at bay for that, until they finally either migrated or had nowhere else to go.
mm.
So yeah, all those sort of contingency plans and all those survival. I mean, she talks about the Black Plague and how they dealt with that really badly. But they also, there are also signs in those mass graves of the care and attention that had been given to the bodies of the people. They'd all been buried ritualistically and they'd been taken care of. But
Yeah.
then there were graveyards full of people that had been killed violently because everything just fell apart.
Mm,
And I guess you're talking about the lessons of what not to do
mm.
when the fuel runs out or the food runs out or the water runs out or whatever else potentially,
Runs out.
because we're just accelerating all that shit with dumb stuff like AI.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine who's, I'd say she's about 12 years younger than me, and was
Yep.
was talking about in the 80s, like the real proper fear of nuclear war,
Yep.
which she was too young for, and. It was so funny because we all know your phone's listening in on you,
Yep.
and the first thing that my Instagram feed fed up to me was a guy explaining if a nuclear warhead goes off, the best thing to do. And my first reaction was, this is too much. Anyway, I watched it. I learnt a lot. It's
And what was
basically if a warhead goes off, just seal yourself. Don't run. So, like, of course, the blast. If you survive the
yeah,
blast,
yeah,
lock yourself in your home for 48 hours.
yeah, I think you're still fucked.
No, no.
Um,
Well, the radiation falls and is pretty much kind of burns itself out. But it's when
right.
you go outside and try to make a run for it, and that's when it's hitting you, and that's when it. So if you can kind of stay indoors for 48 hours, and
Yep.
like it's not saying it's the best. It is the best option.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Anyway.
reminded me of what terrified us in the 80s was when my relief teacher in year 3 thought she'd show us the Grim Reaper 10-pin bowling AIDS ad
Oh my Lord. Yeah.
to a bunch of like 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah, use a condom, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought the warning of children would have been enough, but that was a hell of an advert.
fuck, yeah.
By by the way, sorry, this is a little tangent for you. I was my flight was delayed the other day from Cairns, and so I was, when you're in that netherworld of I don't know when this flight might suddenly board in 5 minutes or an hour, and so you don't want to commit to anything. And I was just flicking through articles on my phone, etc. And I read an article that was talking about. By the way, this is a real tangent. Talking about Kylie Minogue's agent provocateur advert that was shown in the cinemas in 2001 or 2002, and it was so sexy that they had to take it off. And I was like, oh, I've never even heard of this
I don't
advert.
remember that at all. No.
No, it was in British cinemas, I think.
Okay, right.
So I was like, I'm guessing it'll be on YouTube. I'll go and have a look. And I was like, let's see what was too sexy for 2002. Garth, it's fucking hot. It's a really hot advert, and I was sitting there in Cairns Airport watching it, going, Jesus, and then became
My shoulder. No, I'm looking.
yeah, I became really self-conscious that I was out in the open, but I was so ready to be absolutely dismissive. And it's kind of sexy and funny. And anyway, for anyone who wants to see a really sexy advert with Kylie
Link,
Minogue,
links in the description.
yeah, I'm going to do a whole series on it. It's
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Does
Anyway,
that go to the OnlyFans as well? Or?
right, it's like it. I'd think about signing up. It is pretty wild. Anyway, it was just such a funny thing to be so. Let's see what was sexy in 2002.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah, turns out, you know what that advert was? Sexier than anything that's happened in the last 24 years.
I'm absolutely not surprised in hindsight because I remember buying like face magazines and things like that at the time, and it
Yeah,
was that was the era for it.
yeah.
You didn't have to buy a lads magazine; you could buy a culture magazine.
Yeah. You know
Um,
what, what was great was some people sort of saying, "Oh, but it's the male gaze, etc., blah blah blah." And then underneath, heaps of lesbians and heaps of gay men saying,
yeah,
"No, no, this is really hot."
yeah. I think that's Kylie's team. It's all right.
Yeah. All these women saying, "I'm a lesbian and that is for my gaze."
Kylie. Um,
Anyway,
I was thinking, since you were talking about comics, do you want to do one of your selections?
yes, yes, change the timber of the conversation. I just read the new Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips graphic novel, Five Gears in Reverse. Just like to me, these guys are the equivalent of the TV series Mad Men.
Mhm.
By season six, you can take it for granted just how perfect that series is. And this is once again just a cracking one off. Set in the criminal world. Criminal also coming to Amazon Prime as a TV series soon, which I can't wait for. And Brubaker and Phillips are involved in it, so I'm feeling pretty confident. Amelia Clark's in it, and I rate her. I just hope she
Yep.
has just a bit of better luck with the stuff that she gets to act in. But this one is back to the character of Ricky Lawless. He's all I'll say is he's asked to do a job, and in classic criminal noir storytelling, it's a really simple job, and he decides he has to go to a hotel to rob a high stakes poker player because he owes money after betting on the horses, and the horse was not a sure thing. And he manages to get into the hotel. This is literally the start of it, and he has a little thing of cocaine to just kind of keep him all awake, etc. But he's accidentally bought heroin, and he takes a snort, and it goes sideways. Yeah,
Yep.
and it's uh, every chapter of this graphic novel, everything gets exponentially worse. And Ricky is the perfect lead character in that he is fucking useless. He is an absolute fuck up, and you can't help but like him.
Right. Cool.
It's and it's just kind of great, and it's also like there's high tension. It brings back a couple of other characters from the criminal universe, but if you haven't read them before, that's fine. This works as a standalone, and also incredibly funny in places, and just like one of those classic noir stories where you're just sitting there going, just just do the easy thing. Just do the easy thing, and everything's going to be fine. But once again, just a masterpiece in storytelling. That whole crew are just perfect together. They're to me they're yeah, I'd put them up there with any creative team in comic book history, and I think their consistency is one of the most remarkable things that I've witnessed. And I'm so glad that because I got into Brubaker specifically through I'd read a couple of his things that I liked, but it was his original Captain America run,
Yeah.
and so once he uh, went over to making his own comics and graphic novels. I'm so glad that I followed him and have been on that road because he and Sean and his son Jacob, who does coloring, etc. I they have there's not been one thing they've produced that I have not thoroughly enjoyed.
But say and Sean Phillips have been working together for what, 20
Oh
years?
yeah, long
Mm.
time. Uh,
Yeah.
and there's the Reckless series of graphic novels that I don't know if they'll ever go back to that, but I loved all of them, and their one-off stories are fantastic. And you know, I just thought this was, as I said, it's like Mad Men. Sometimes you can just kind of take for granted how perfect something is,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I try not to with these guys. So I read that all in. I read that on the flight from Cairns to Sydney after I'd calmed down from watching that Kylie Minogue video.
I'm gonna hunt that down after we've talked, I think, and have a look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
encourage everyone to have a look at it. But yeah, so if anyone's looking for something that is, you can read like in one sitting, like you could spread it out easily, but it's kind of so propulsive. It's like, oh, might as well get to the next bit. I thoroughly recommend that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I'm into that.
What else do we have from you? We have.
I talked to Lauren Williams, who wrote the new novel Neighborhood Watch last. I talked to her last week. The book comes out in a few days, I think.
Mhm.
Lauren's a debut author who has previously been a diplomat, an actress, a arts administrator, a whole plethora of pretty wild career path.
Yep.
Uh, and she, I think, I don't know that this manuscript won the the Premier's literary award, but I think it was in the running at least.
Hmm.
If for the interview that we'll put up, she'll confirm that for you.
Yep.
But yeah, she took the quick way to publication, which is just win the most prestigious award in Victorian letters.
Yep.
And this novel is set in Thornbury in Melbourne, and it is about the murder of a High Court judge, which is a very bad thing, of course. Those, all nice people. And, the fallout for this neighborhood where they find his body, and it follows a forensics detective and her partner, and it follows the murdered man's wife and her family as this sort of investigation unfolds. It's very recognizably Melbourne.
Hmm.
It's tangibly Thornbury, like all the bird baths. You can definitely, sense the concrete front lawns and there's a bit of Melbourne underworld in there. There's a great bikey character called Easy Kill, and I could definitely see it being a ABC miniseries at some stage, especially
Mm.
that sort of tone. And it's the first book in what's going to become a series of novels based on the detective character who is an Indian woman named Priyanka Pal. And she'll be the ongoing protagonist of Lauren's novels as they go forward.
Okay, yeah, she's a former psychologist turned
Yep.
homicide detective. Is that right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. So I think the next book comes out next year, and this is something that I probably wouldn't have picked up in my usual sort of diet of
Mm.
reading. But I'm glad that the publisher sent it our way because
Yep.
it's a really entertaining read. It's I said to Lauren, "Is this book about smashing the patriarchy?" And she sort of demurred a bit, but it's about smashing the patriarchy because all the men in it are fucking terrible,
Yeah.
except the bikie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's one noble character, and that's the bikie Easy Kill, who just loves his nana.
Yeah.
Uh,
That
yeah,
sums up the world.
that's pretty much it. Yep, he's like a Robin Hood character. And yeah, yeah, I recommend look out for it because it's a novel that it's got the typography and all the usual stuff that you see at the airport, and I go, oh my God, I'm never reading something like that. But it turns out I might be judging books by covers, and I might be wrong.
Mm.
I'm here to
It,
admit that.
it's like this is not a comment on this cover, but it is there is a there's a lot of books that have a specific style.
The aesthetics that the marketing departments have drilled down on don't
Mm.
appeal to me at all, but apparently
No.
they sell.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely there's a very generic aesthetic that they've sort of locked in on for a lot of these
Mm.
novels. And you can see, yeah, I mean, it's meant to help people who are just, you know, looking to grab something off the shelf at the airport or the newsagent or whatever, wherever, make a
Mm.
pretty quick decision about what the content of the novel's going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this case, I don't hate the cover, but the book itself definitely was a surprise, a happy surprise.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
That looks good. That looks like it'd be fun.
yeah, it is fun. It is lovely.
And it's I just looked her up. She worked as a lawyer, diplomat, actor, arts journalist,
Yeah,
and museum communications manager.
yes, and ain't that old?
And I was about to say, like looking at the photo, it's like, how?
How? Yes.
She doesn't look old enough to have done all of that. So, and
And
she's written her first book and won an award. So,
yes.
damn impressive. Really impressive.
And if yeah, check out the interview. Lauren does a really good talk about her perspective on AI as well in that.
Mm.
Sort of ties back into our discussion of the Cory Doctorow book. She's got some very good insights into where she thinks things are going.
Yes, we have. You have sent me the interview with Lauren and also with, I'm going to say Dave
Yeah, Masson.
Musson.
I'm not.
And what we'll do is we're going to put it up as a bonus for this feed as well, so people
Cool.
can after they've heard this, they can check that out as well.
Yeah, so just a bit of background. Dave's a English horror author. He's an
Mm.
independent guy who has released a lot of very fun projects. He's also pretty well known for doing this Stephen King podcast called Dave Reads King.
Oh yeah, right.
I met him initially. I did an episode on The Dark Half a few years ago, one of my favorite Stephen King novels. He's currently talking to Joe Hill about coming on,
Mm.
and he's hoping that that's the gateway to get Steve on as well. But Dave and I crapped on for ages, and we talked about his activism, his bands, like the fact he's got two children and still releases a book a month this year, all sorts of,
Right.
yeah, wild things that he's up to.
I don't know how I get things done without kids, so I have to be honest. I'll never hang shit on parents who manage to you know churn out books while raising kids, etc.
Yeah,
I can
I think
barely raise me.
his secret sounded like he doesn't watch any shows whatsoever because I raised Widow's Bay and he'd never seen it, and I gasped. And
Well,
an exception for that one, dude.
well, I can't leave the podcast. I've got to make some
That's right.
decisions here. You know, by the way, it's quite amazing how the amount of shit that I churn through for this podcast, and people say, "Have you seen this or listened to that?" And you go,
What are you talking
"No,
about?
yep, still missed it." Is there anything else that you want
No,
to
I think
cover?
that
That's good.
covered me. I've got a good slate for next month, so I'll just hold that. Yep, keep that in
Hold
the
that.
pocket. Yep.
I'll just throw this in at the end. I reread, I hadn't read this in a long time. It's Dennis Potter's Black Eyes. I've been thinking about Dennis Potter a lot lately, mainly uh, as one of the, like I talk about seeing Bowie at 11 and things like that. Seeing Dennis Potter's Singing Detective in my teenage years was one of those, oh, this medium can do this. It's like it wasn't that long ago that the highlight of my week was Buck Rogers. This is was turned into a TV series. This is a book about a writer called Morris James Kingsley, who at the age of 77 and 20 years since his last book has produced this book called Black Eyes. And it's been a massive hit. But what nobody knows is that he has pretty much taken the story of his niece and turned it into a fiction. And you're reading what's happening in Morris's life. You're reading what's happening in the niece's life as she decides that she wants to reclaim the book, and you're reading what's happening in the book, and they all meld
Right.
into one big story. Um, you know, uh, Once again, men are awful, and I think you have to give it a close read because it's absolutely not saluting those type of men, but
Mm.
they are all the way through it, and it's once again a noir story as well. So I churned through that. I saw this saw it while on the road. I saw it in a secondhand bookstore. Like we literally stopped to get something to eat and have a toilet break, and then while we were waiting for some people, there was a secondhand bookstore. Walked in, saw that for $2, and went, "Well, it's not like I have enough to read at the moment," and it was $2 well spent. So if anyone hasn't engaged with Dennis Potter before, I'd still send them straight to the Singing Detective. But that's a
Mhm.
really great book too.
That sounds
Uh,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
We love
Garth.
secondhand bookshops.
Sorry.
I love secondhand bookshops. We need,
Yeah,
yeah, need to get amongst them more. Great memories of going down to Normanville when we were kids and just, yeah, no, going to or heading down to Victor Harbour,
mm,
those secondhand bookshops down there,
yes.
where I think I got my first Justice League internationals.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah, the home, the big, very beginning of that journey.
Remember as kids going to secondhand bookstores and just do you have any comics? And I'd say, yeah, they're out in the box, and you'd be flicking through it going, "Come on, baby, give me X-Men
Yeah.
137. Like give me the good juice. Come
Yep.
on."
What's there? What's there? What do we got? What do we got?
But that's where I first found Alan Moore's Swamp Thing.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
So much good stuff like Dr. Fate's in there, like all sorts of like that late 80s gear that people are just, yeah, and they weren't in poly bags.
yeah,
Just,
yeah.
yep. No one inflated the prices yet.
Not yet. They weren't across it yet. It was
No,
a it
yeah,
was
it's
a
getting close, but yeah.
It was a golden age. Excellent work as always, Garth. Where can people find you? What's up at your website at the moment?
We've just got, I think I've just updated with the interviews from last month.
Mm,
I'm just pottering around. I've sent out a lot of queries for this manuscript that I finished last month.
mm.
And as you know, I may have started a new project accidentally, or it might be folded into a project I'm also thinking about. We'll see. But yeah, just taking a moment and yeah, updating the old Instagram at Past the Amel, Letterboxed, and Blue Sky. Although I think that's dying a very slow death. Uh,
What's happening with Blue Sky? There's a
it's just a little bit deflating, really. I don't know that it's really worth the energy.
I'm not really sure either. I'm on
Feel-
Threads as well, and
I just
I
feel a bit sad when I log on to it, and then
I feel that way about a lot of things.
yeah, at least
I
Instagram makes me angry. Threads just makes me feel a bit depressed.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to feel something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thank you very much,
Well,
Garth.
take it easy.
Thank you to Garth for joining me today. Some great suggestions there. There's a whole bunch of books and graphic novels that I think will give you a wide range of opportunities to be able to dig into something and have it tick all the boxes. So amazing how much he gets through as well. So always appreciative of the time and effort that he puts into that. He's given me a couple of interviews that he has conducted. One is with Dave Musson and the other one is with Lauren Williams. I'll top and tail them and put them up as little special YouTube clips at my site. So if you would like to see those interviews as well, head over to Justin Hamilton Comedian at YouTube, and you'll be able to find the channel. You'll be able to find the video casts of this podcast, and you'll also be able to find a couple of live shows that I filmed that you may enjoy if you want to check out some of my stand-up. So a whole lot of stuff for free over there. Yes, just a little reminder over at Substack, chapter 10 of One Foot in the Spotlight is up. And you can read all about the Bunta Boys' first ever headline spot and how it blew out to be just a one-off show, which is pretty wild. So if you'd like to check that out, please do so. Of course, you can find my blog, Dispatches from the Fury Road there. You can find short stories, beautiful tales for the disenchanted. There's a whole bunch of stuff over at the Substack. So if you would like to check that out, please do so. There's some bonus podcasts going up on Patreon soon as well. So if you're looking for more audio content, I just used the word content. So gross. I'm going to have to go and douse my mouth out with white vinegar. I just feel awful for saying that. Anyway, gross. There's some bonus podcasts that are going up pretty soon. So if you would like to get in on that action and be able to access not only other bonus podcasts, but also some live one-off shows and ad-free versions of this podcast, you can sign up for as little as $5 a month, and all the money that is made goes into the maintenance of this podcast. So you'll know exactly where your money is going. Otherwise, if money is tight and you would like to support the podcast in some way, word of mouth with your friends is always great. Let them know that this podcast is hosted by a middle-aged white man who isn't sliding into fashion. And sorry, I started to laugh as I said fascism, and I said fashion. Isn't about to slide into fascism, and still believes that art and entertainment can be interesting and good for the soul, and also entertaining in its own right. So dear, what a world we live in. Otherwise, you can just, if you have the time, a top review on whichever platform you use is fantastic. So next week, we will have Will Anderson returning. He will be back on Tuesday. And as I said, over in the newsletter next week, there'll be a little opportunity to save some money on tickets for Will shows up in Brisbane. Then on Thursday, we will have a big review of The Odyssey ready to go. The movie officially comes out on Thursday. We'll have a review ready to go, so you can listen to it beforehand if you're that type of person, or you can go and see the film and know that it is there waiting for you for when you're ready to engage with it. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, I'm looking forward to that. You know, I'm looking forward to that. So, all right. Thanks for being a part of this podcast. Thanks for listening. And I look forward to catching up with you next week. All right. Until then.